Story is about our man in charge, who Jason really loves. Joe Biden administration will seek to dismiss marijuana industry lawsuit challenging prohibition, according to the DOJ. Justice Department says it will be requesting that a federal court dismiss cannabis industry lawsuit that seeks to block enforcement of marijuana prohibition against state legal activity. The document filed with the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts Western Division on Monday. DOJ advised that Attorney General Merrick Garland will be filing a motion to dismiss reporting memorandum on the court-imposed deadline set for Tuesday. Overachieving lawsuit, plaintiffs claim that perpetuating prohibition in state markets is unconstitutional, creating undue public safety risks while precluding licensed marijuana businesses from accessing medical, financial services, and tax deductions that are available to other industries. This comes about a month after the Justice Department and plaintiffs, a coalition of marijuana businesses represented by an influential law firm, jointly agreed to request a deadline for extension for the filing of initial briefs. Against the federal government is being led by multi-state operator Verano Holdings Corporation and the Massachusetts-based business Cannabis and Wiseacre Farm, along with Trevit CEO Giassi Sellers. DOJ also noted in the motion on Monday that it's seeking permission to submit a 25-page memorandum that exceeds the general 20-page limit allotted under the rules. The memorandum will present legal argument on multiple issues of constitutional law, it says. Defendant respectfully submits that 5 additional pages will allow defendant to present this case in a manner that permits meaningful review of the issues and will assist the court in its resolution of this matter. The lawsuit alleges that while Congress originally banned marijuana through the Controlled Substance Act in an attempt to eradicate interstate commerce, ostensibly giving the government a basis to enforce prohibition at the state level. Lawmakers and executive branch have since abandoned that mission as more states have enacted legalization. These changes, the federal criminal prohibition on intrastate marijuana remains in place, unjustified vestige of long-abandoned policy, the complaint filed last October states. Unjustified intrusion of federal power harms plaintiffs, threatens the communities they serve, and lacks any rational purpose. There were repeated mentions of the fact that while the government has taken a largely hands-off approach to cannabis in recent decades, licensed marijuana businesses continue to suffer unique financial burdens, including lack of access to banking services, credit cards, and federal tax deductions, or IRS code known as 280E. Without access to credit cards or online payments, state-regulated businesses must rely heavily on cash, creating serious public safety risks. Regulated marijuana dispensaries have become targets of robberies, the original lawsuit says. These collateral harms increase the cost of state-regulated marijuana businesses and reduce participation in state-regulated marijuana markets. As a result, there is less innovation and less consumer choice. Existing ban on cannabis under the CSA results in an unconstitutional imposition on state sovereignty, attorneys said. While Congress has the authority to ban marijuana from interstate commerce, it has no general police power over marijuana grown, transported, and distributed in interstate commerce. Neither the Commerce Clause nor the Necessary and Proper Clause of the Constitution permit this overreach by Congress. Also takes a look at the history of cannabis laws in the country, pointing out that prohibition is a relatively recent policy position that followed more than 100 years of permitted use and cultivation to some extent. Then returned to the federal government's justification for banning marijuana under the CSA, which was a way to prevent interstate commerce, as was argued in the 2005 U.S. Supreme Court case Gonzalez versus Raich concerning medical cannabis access for California patients. Justification no longer rationally applies, the companies argue. Not only has Congress annually renewed an appropriations rider barring the Justice Department from using federal funds to intervene in state medical cannabis programs, but attorneys general over the course of multiple administrations have spoken to their lack of interest in criminalizing people over marijuana-related activity that's sanctioned by the states. It was once a single-minded federal crusade against the cannabis plant, has been replaced with an ambivalent set of inconsistent policies, some aimed at reducing federal interference with state efforts to regulate marijuana, also in the suit. The Justice Department says it will be requesting that federal court dismiss cannabis industry lawsuit that seeks to block the enforcement of marijuana prohibition against state legal activity. Document filed with the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts, Western Division. The motion to dismiss and supporting memorandum on the court imposed. Of the lawyers in the case said, I think the fact that one of the leading constitutional law firms in the United States is willing and eager to take this case speaks volumes to the seriousness of the action and the potential likelihood of the success. Hopefully, this will be another factor that the Senate says, we've got to get off our ass and going to lose this issue to the courts, he said. I'm Todd Engen with High at 9 News. What do you guys think of this frivolous lawsuit?
Well, I mean, it's not surprising at all that the Biden's DOJ would try to dismiss a lawsuit around this. Not surprising at all.
The lawsuit in the first place, it's an attention grabber. Mm-hmm. We thought it was more of a distraction than anything else. But the fact that it does have some of the biggest names in these types of lawsuits behind it, it was going to carry a little bit more weight. But it's not surprising to me that they're trying to dead this shit.
Of course they are. They don't want to try it because they know they're probably going to lose.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Probably will lose.
I'm glad that the MSOs are putting some of their resources towards furthering a cause or a position on policy that would help everybody. The Biden administration's position on this lawsuit is inconsistent with what he ran on. And I wish the stupid old man would understand that if he changed his position on things like this, he could get a lot of momentum going into an election cycle. Biden, the difference between the rhetoric and the actions is challenging. And, Kamala being one heartbeat away from that presidential position, I think he's got the same advisors for his presidential run that Ron DeSantis did in Florida, because he's fumbling the opportunity. It could be an opportunity for his administration, and instead it's just bad press.
Mm-hmm. I don't see why America keeps on trying to teach an old dog new tricks. Like, Joe Biden ain't changing. Mm-hmm. He is not changing.
Exactly.
Donald Trump ain't changing.
It'll help him win the election for sure.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to get any better. Call me a pessimist. All my liberal friends like to say, like, oh, yeah, you're a conservative. And all my conservative friends like to say, oh, yeah, you're too liberal. But I'm just calling it like it is.
You're pretty liberal.
The system is broken. Needs to be burned the fuck down.
Libby.
Yeah, I mean, you're just calling balls and strikes. And this is a strike, right? And so this administration doesn't need to block this, in so much as we've talked on this show about the Cole memo, and there was already sort of, and Jason talked about how to, the
Cole memo,
what'd you call it, the Robacher farm, and then it went to the Blumenthal, whatever.
McClintock.
They're already not supposed to spend money enforcing against operators or compliant with state programs, and so this would just be another incremental approach towards normalization and eventual federal legalization, and instead they choose the obstructionistic position, and they just look bad.
Yep. He keeps on looking worse and worse every time he opens his damn mouth, every time you see some shit like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very encouraging.
It's not.
Y'all.
It's not. It is definitely.
On that note, on that very somber note,